Ready. Check Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yeah, you know it's a go. Okay, I see they going off, but we gon' rewrite it though. That's right, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yeah, you know it's a go. Okay, I see they going off, but we gon' rewrite it though. That's right, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yeah, you know it's a go. Okay, I see they going off, but we gon' rewrite it though. I said Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yeah, you know it's a go. Okay, I see they going off, but we gon' rewrite it though.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Rewriters Room. We are the men with the pen. It is the boy Armand, leader of All My Niggas Hate Carry On Cross Hive, leader of I just attended my first live show and it was incredible Hive. And I'm going to get into that later, but you know I don't do this alone. Fellas, how y'all feeling? CC, you got to give us that intro, brother.
Oh, what's good? How y'all doing out there in the world? It's your boy CC, the best rapper and producer in the whole wide world. Got body because I consume healthy products and do towel curls, benevolent servant to the earth, and philanthropist. And every phrase that I say is a gem like amethyst. You could put any nigga right beside the boy. Dope ass women right across the street. Go and look at the two of us, whispering in her girl ear like, "Yo, whose man's is this?" I may talk a lot, but only got one thing to say: love yourself and keep going. You are the world, so give all you can. Take care of your body, your people, and your land. Now, where the fuck is my nigga Grand Chan?
Going on, man? Reporting live from the mid card mafia. We are here. What's going on? It's Channing. Another week blessed. Another week of Dolph Ziggler matches at Madison Square Garden. Your fave could never. I'm just happy to be here, man. IC title picture back in the spotlight. US title back in the spotlight. Great feud going on with Swerve for the North American title with Legado del Fantasma. Like, we're just up right now, man.
That you are. So, of course, we want to plug our Patreon, our network, the A Show RNC. If you are not subscribed by now, pay that $3, pay that $5, pay that $10, pay that $20, pay that $50, and you could come join the Men with the Pen to do some incredible rewrites. That is patreon.com/the A Show RNC. Let's jump right into our pre-write. Now, a lot has happened since we last joined you all. Oh, also, shout out to Quan for joining us last episode. Phenomenal time with you, brother. Happy birthday to him as well. This will come out.
Happy birthday, nigga.
Yeah, this is going to come out later, but happy belated to you, my brother. 31 years, just hit his prime. And we here. So for me, the first thing that I want to get out the way, I want to get some negativity out of the way. Actually, this is like positive and negative. So last episode, if y'all heard the Patreon segment, I was convinced to watch AEW. So I watched Dynamite. I caught like an hour and a half of it last week. I caught a little bit of Dynamite this week. I watched the entire All Out pay-per-view. And a lot of the things that my colleagues, my peers have said about the show are very true. The pacing of the show is very, very weird to me. Quan said, they don't let shit breathe. And I completely felt that. Like there was some match where it ended while they were in picture, and then you come back to the main thing and like you see the match is over and it's like, wait, we didn't get to really see the finish of the match in a more grand way. So that was really weird to me. There's a lot of the Elite, a lot of the Young Bucks, not a lot of women shown, not a lot of diverse faces shown. And that's something that we've talked about a lot. It's big for us to be able to see people on the screen that look like us, and for AEW to have promoted themselves as this diverse promotion that everyone is going to be able to get featured on. They're not necessarily doing the best job of that. They're catering to a certain fan base that we've acknowledged who they are: the white frat boys, the Phi Delta Psi's, the Sig Pies, all of them. And Mick Foley came out with some comments this past week talking about how it is wrestlers and talent don't aspire to join the WWE because it's not possible for them to become a star. And, Mick is probably a little disgruntled. Mick, he's dealing with that CTE from falling off of all them cells and going through flaming tables and all that. And it just, it started a very nasty conversation. And a lot of these comments from disgruntled former WWE employees often lead to AEW fans feeling like their biases are confirmed. So the Mick Foley snippet came out. It was on like Complex Sports or something. And I think there's like a bigger interview or video he did. I plan to watch it. I haven't gotten to it yet. But I got tagged in tweets by these people. And admittedly, a lot of them, the things that they were saying, they came off as casuals. They were like, yo, WWE got to do better. Why is Bianca Belair getting squashed at SummerSlam? Why is WWE racist? Why did they fumble Adam Cole? A couple things. Storytelling is important. Now, the AEW clearly isn't as big into storytelling and long-term storytelling because they give you things and then they move on very quickly. If you are a fan of the product, if you're aware of how the business works, you know exactly why Bianca Belair lost in the way that she did. Becky Lynch returned at SummerSlam, a core 4 pay-per-view. She's a superstar, arguably the biggest woman of all time, one of the biggest overall acts in WWE. So for you to focus so much on Bianca Belair losing, because champions lose, like champions have to lose. CM Punk had his 400-something day run, he lost. Cena's a 16-time champion. How do you become a 16-time champion? You have to lose the title to get it back. Like, that's something that happens. We acknowledge Bianca Belair, great feud with Bayley, the Carmella matches, the Sasha matches. She has to face adversity at some point. It gets to a point where you stop believing in these people if they're not really facing any real conversation. So you want to see them overcome. That's the nature, the DNA of a baby face, is they're overcoming things. There aren't too many dominant baby faces. Like, that's just the reality of it. That's babyface 101. So, these guys are going back and forth with me, and like the whole Adam Cole fumbling thing, we know WWE was trying to negotiate with him. Adam Cole deserves all the money in the world. He deserved an absolute big contract. But for him, he wanted to be able to stream freely. But he's also got friends in AEW. We saw that from when he debuted, and he immediately linked up with the Elite. Like, he's got friends over there. If you're offered a job one place, and you're offered a job another place where your girl and your friends are, and you can get creative control and do what you want to do with your streaming stuff, well, what are you going to do? Like, I think we often forget that these wrestlers, because they entertain us on TV, are humans who want things for themselves. So, am I upset Adam Cole left? Definitely. Am I upset that his trajectory is significantly declined because of where he is rather than where he could have been? Absolutely. But he's going to learn, and I hope that he sees, damn, I made a mistake, and he comes back. But hey, it happens. And we're looking at Miro over there. We're looking at Andrade over there. We're looking at Pac, whatever his name is. Is it Hangman?
Pac. Hangman Page and Pac is Neville.
Pac, Neville, whatever. Like, we're looking at guys who maybe their trajectories in WWE weren't what they wanted to be, and now they can do whatever they want in AEW. But like, they're not going to achieve nearly what they could have achieved in WWE, because we know, and from what I've seen in just watching 2 Dynamites and All Out, Kenny Omega has to be at the top. The Gallows and Anderson have to be at the top. The Young Bucks, even though they lost to the Lucha Bros, like, they're probably going to still be in that tag title picture and get the titles back at some point. Like, there is an agenda. There are certain people that they want to position to be up front at all times, and people who are talented and probably deserve to be there might not get that. So it was a very frustrating back and forth. And like, I genuinely felt like the people who were going back and forth with me don't watch weekly WWE, because if you watch weekly WWE, you know exactly what they're doing. You might not like all of it, and that's okay, because I don't like all of it either. I think a lot of these guys who, and Chan brought up a great point, Chan brought up 2 great points, which I've, been repeating in my mind, is one, WWE is a television show that incorporates wrestling, and AEW is a wrestling show. But also, AEW is that shiny new toy. Everyone loves that new thing, and they want to look back on the old thing that they liked and be like, it's really not that. But like, you got to be fair. You got to be realistic. Like, no one thinks WWE is perfect. And so I had another back and forth with this guy who was like, WWE is racist. They've been around for 50 years, and like, they haven't got their stuff together. No one's denying that. A lot of problematic storylines, a lot of stifling of Black talents who deserve to be better, but you can't look at the last 3 years of WWE and not acknowledge a concentrated effort to position these Black faces, these people of color who deserve to be at the forefront. They're there. We had 11 out of 15 people of color champions in 2020.
Yep.
That's unprecedented. No promotion has ever done that. And I got to give credit to Impact. They keep a lot of Black talent, at the forefront, whether the Impact champion or whatever. That's great. The WWE recognizes, the mistakes that they've made in the past. They're not doing any of that crazy stuff anymore. Like Apollo Crews with his whole Naija stuff, like, it wasn't problematic. It made him look strong. It made him look important. And it's something that he's owning. Like, they're finding ways to still incorporate race and, politics and all this stuff into storylines without being disparaging, without being disrespectful. So if you want to hold on to what WWE did in the past, Vince McMahon saying nigga, wearing a do-rag, Kamala, all that, you can hold on to that. But if you're not willing to acknowledge the efforts that they're making now, you're wasting your time watching the product. If you're going to hold on to 2003, 1990, whatever, then there's no point. You're never going to be satisfied. And so that's the frustrating thing for me is like, I'm going to hold WWE accountable, but I'm also going to acknowledge when they do things right. And since 2019, Kofi Mania, with the women's evolution, like all that shit, they're doing it. And AEW should look at them and take notes, because it's not enough to have a Britt Baker, Chris Statlander match in a casino battle royale where you debut Ruby Soho and have her win. I'm happy for her, but a lot of women talent who could have won that and gotten an opportunity were quote unquote buried as a result of that. And it's because they get these former WWE talents and they want to put them at the forefront and have them lead the brand. And like, Ruby Soho, she cool, but even in WWE, she wasn't really like that. So like, maybe she could be a flag bearer of AEW, but I don't think she's going to accomplish crazy things and really take them to the next level. So, it's a lot of frustrating discourse. And I think a lot of people just really, they really just want to like talk shit about the WWE at every turn and like put them down, when the reality is that is the standard. AEW should be, and they're clearly taking things in a different direction. But if you want to be a viable wrestling show, there's a lot to learn from the WWE. So that's my perspective. That's my negativity. I don't know if y'all had any perspective on all that.
Bro, I watched Brian Pillman Jr. in the main event
in a Bengals jersey,
in a mullet. Like not a Jey Uso mullet, like a fucking, like a mullet.
Oh man.
Like, so it's just like, you got to understand, is in the same way that I've watched Reggie or whatever come out here and be 24/7 champion, and I've had to watch Humberto Carrillo, who in my eyes is probably one of the greatest wrestling talents that I've ever seen, put his time in for botching and here and there or whatever, paying his dues or whatever in the 24/7. It's like, listen, like, if here's a good way to explain this. If you can't look at everything going on with wrestling, with all the promotions, and kind of keep a level head about it and point out where people are making mistakes here, it's like, oh, I wouldn't have done that, but I understand, or oh, that was really good, but I could also see it going another way, and just kind of stay in the middle like that, you also are probably not having a great time with life, because that's how life is, my nigga. Like, you can't, like, it's balance. It's not going to be all good all the time. And I've seen, like, i.e. like AEW, like, and for anybody here like, I don't want anybody to be a WWE stan or AEW stan. Like, you should just be a wrestling fan. Like, be a fan of wrestling and watch it or whatever. But if you are an AEW stan, I want you to explain to me how Goldust can fake a what was it? Like
Black Mass. I don't know what they call it in AEW now, because I didn't get to see that match, but bro, it was terrible.
He faked a whole suplex move. Like,
oh, that too. That was horrible.
He like took air and swung it on the ground and then was like, oh, I guess I missed you.
While Malachi just chilled on the ropes.
I literally was like, listen, I'm like, the thing is like, wrestling is so difficult that I like, whenever I see a botch, especially for a difficult move, I'm not going to talk shit about it, because for one, I know I can't do that shit. So let me shut the fuck up. And two, or whatever, you niggas probably, like, depending on when it happened in a match, niggas is tired from just working, like, overall, like, your body like gets exhausted and shit like that or whatever. So like, I get it, 100% understand. Plus, you're gonna go for shit and everything not gonna work all the time, whatever. And it's fucking live. Like, come on, man. Like, it's crazy or whatever. You got to remember, you have to be a different person while doing all these moves at the same time or whatever. So I get that or whatever. But the thing about that I've noticed with AEW is, it's just like, it's like they're suffering. What they're suffering from is hubris. And if they cannot get over it, they're going to be so full of themselves that they don't see all the ways in which they need to fix the little flaws and improve on them over time. And that's the difference between AEW and WWE or whatever. With WWE, yes, you can say shit, but you can say a lot of shit about the past that you can't say now. And that's the motherfucking difference. 2 years ago, AEW looked just like goddamn right now to me. Like watching these shows and shit like that. I haven't seen much improvement. The only improvement that I've seen is like maybe from like storytelling in some matches, because when they first started, it was very choreographed, flippity floppy. You're gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, reversal here.
Spot
shit.
fest.
Spot fest.
Yes. Yeah,
Spot fest.
100%. 100%. So I've seen like the improvement there, but my nigga, like here's and this is a really fucked up thing to say. But like things like appearance matter or whatever. This is why certain people aren't managers and shit like that in WWE. Like, no offense, but I saw a bunch of old white dudes that look like the old white dudes at the airport bar being managers in AEW. And I'm not saying, I'm not trying to like knock, like, and the problem was one of them niggas was good. I feel I forget what his name was, but he had the black guy and the white guy with him or whatever, and he was actually like talking shit about.
Oh, he was with the Men of the Hour, yeah.
Men of the Hour, yeah.
I forget what the guys did. Yeah, another manager, old wrestler.
Yeah, because if you
Tully
look
Blanchard,
at the nigga, bruh, if you look at the nigga, he looked like he was in the crowd before he gave him the mic. Like that was the first one of the first problems. It's just like, it's like little thing. You gotta, the devil's in the details, my nigga. Like it's like Drizzy said, my nigga, Vince is just like him. The devil's in the details, and I'm satanic. Like it's like, bro, it's like you gotta understand. There's a bunch of little shit that goes into why. Like this is psychological. We're not talking about just on the surface or whatever. We're talking about shit that works on your brain when you don't know that it's working on your brain. There's a reason why Bianca is being pushed as the one, because if you look, like, just fucking look at Bianca. Just look at her. Don't she look like something? Like
if you saw that,
think that
that entrance when she hit the stage in Madison Square Garden, you just felt it.
Bro.
Like they showed
that all white.
There was a little white kid who had the Bianca Belair gear. Yeah, white boy. I was like, oh yeah,
a little white boy was jumping up and down for a black woman.
I said the impact.
Literally never seen that shit in my entire life. Like my entire life, I have never seen a little white boy jump up and down for a grown black woman doing anything, my nigga. And that, and like I've been to 3 Beyonce concerts at this point. Like, come on, bro. Like the shit is like it's different. Like there's just certain things that they need to work on or whatever. And here's the thing: this is a perfect and like. Ironically, this is the perfect opportunity for AEW to actually take a step back and see what they can learn and take the good parts from WWE and leave the bad parts. Like that would be the smart thing to do instead of just going against everything that you have. But yeah, to like everyone who like on either side, like making it a brand war thing, don't do that. Stay in the middle. Like just be a wrestling fan. To call shit for what it is. Don't let your bias get ahead of you or whatever. Mistakes happen in WWE. Mistakes happen in AEW. Good shit happens in AEW. Good shit happens in WWE. That's just what it is or whatever. But like, stop being weird ass niggas, especially like if you over the age of 25. It's time to stop that. You gotta stop. You have to. I implore you, please. But yeah, you got something to say, Chan?
Couple things, just a few things. Like echoing a lot of what you guys say. I was just looking some stuff up. One thing that's also kind of fun, just the time we're in now with the whole like Drake Kanye comparison, is that like part of AEW's issue is that they have to make everything a comparison. Yep. Like everything they do is that we are not WWE, and it's like when you do that, you intrinsically make people compare you. Where if no one sits around and is like, oh, Ring of Honor is not WWE, because we know that. We understand that they're not trying to be. It's a totally different thing. It is great for what it is. Just like AEW is great for what it is, but everything they do has to be like, oh, we are not WWE. I'm not there anymore. It's just like once you do that, you just invite this comparison where it's stuff where it's even if this is your kind of wrestling, like there's different things for different people. There's a certain level of like quality where you can tell there's no one who's outside of it being able to look at stuff and be like, you guys should do this. It's too close to the art. You have the artist making the art, which is again, like we talk about with Kanye and Drake, like some stuff it gets overindulgent. Like Kanye it didn't need to be 26 songs. Yeah. I'm looking at AEW's, I just looked up, this is obviously not an official list. You know, there are 12 factions in AEW, making up 60 plus people.
It's too much.
How many?
Too much. It's too many people coming out to the ring. It's 3 brawls per show. Like I'm seeing this and I'm like, you know, and your point about the whole comparison thing, like it works to an extent. It creates that chaos where people want to tune in. It's like, oh, there's all this WWE versus AEW shit. Let me watch. Like that's part of why I wanted to watch, and you guys kind of helped me get to that point. But it's also like when you get there, it's kind of like when Tory Lanez wanted to beef with Drake.
Exactly.
You see Drake and you see Tory, you like, okay, Tori does what he does, but he's annoying. I don't want to be a fan of this guy. Drake is doing this shit at a high level. He stays back. He beefs with people he feels are near his level or get at him in a certain way. And like, Tori, you just not that. You got a couple bars on Do Not Disturb, and he left you alone. like that's it. Like it's crazy. And I will say, because I gave a lot of negativity, but like I did enjoy the Britt Baker Chris Statlander match All Out. Like I did like that. Like her using the Panama Sunrise, great foreshadowing. Her stomp, she needs to work on that. Her submission lockjaw, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah. Lucha Bros versus Young Bucks Steel Cage, that was I feel like they were trying too hard to force cool spots. Like when they were
spot fest.
When they were super kicking each other in a circle and like everyone did the kip up and all that.
That shit was corny.
That's too much.
That's what corny. The Young Bucks do. That's what the Young Bucks do. That's just their thing.
You don't got to do that. Like you guys are solid enough in ring. Just work. Like don't try to force moments. Let the moments come naturally. If you're good enough, you'll create a moment without creating a moment. If that makes sense. Like if I don't know. If that
and here's the thing though. And here's the crazy thing is like this is how much when you said they don't have somebody from the outside like watching or whatever, and just the people creating art. This is how you know. Like one of the problems that AEW suffers from, and this is like the professional in me coming out or whatever, but they suffer from silos or whatever.
Yep.
Like. I watch niggas wrestle different or whatever. Like one nigga, the nigga who Brian Pillman went up against or whatever. First of all, he's gonna be in the WWE soon. He has too much personality. I saw it or whatever. Like the nigga who came out rapping, I forget his name. It's Max something. I want to say.
Is it Ricky Starks? Did he wrestle Ricky Starks?
Nah, it's him. It's two light skin. They both look like they got
white.
The
Acclaimed.
The Acclaimed, yeah.
Who just got canceled because they was rapping some crazy shit. Yeah.
Oh, they did? Oh shit.
Oh, wait, they're the ones who talk about Duke Lacrosse, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they wild. Yeah.
They do them raps in their intro. Yeah, they was rap about Duke Lacrosse. Yes.
Yeah.
Again, no oversight. No one would be like, hey, do not go on TV and say that.
Yeah. But I was watching it and I'm like, okay, here's this guy who wrestles this way. He has this thing. Brian Pillman has this thing, but they're not, the way they're wrestling is not putting them up against each other. And then, you got the Young Bucks match or whatever, which is completely different. Like people complain about WWE being uniform or whatever, but I like, how much have they changed about the iPhone since it came out? There's a fucking reason. Like when niggas say, "Oh, it's the new iPhone," it's just gonna be like the last one. It's like, yeah, nigga, there's a reason because you niggas love crack, and I'll just keep selling you crack. Like, put
it in a different bag? But it's
still gonna be crack. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, yeah. So that's and that's the truth. Like psychologically about people. Do they want new shit? Yes, but they want their new shit to be familiar in a way. Mm-hmm. That's what they want or whatever. And one thing that I notice is there's inconsistency in the wrestling or whatever. So like I might watch one match and be like, oh, I really enjoyed that. And then I watch another match and be like, that form of wrestling don't even like. But the thing about that is like while you guys are trying to have like variety, what you do is like you are consistent in your variety, but you're inconsistent in just general consistency. And so like when you just said like moments that are created organically, the Pac Andrade match was a fire fucking, that is wrestling. Banger. Like that match is wrestling. Like you saw how Pac wrestled, you saw how Andrade wrestled. They both share similarities in that they can be physical, which is what brings them there in the first place, i.e. story, boom. And then like moments just happen, and it happened naturally from them just beating each other ass over a period of time, and it wasn't making it look all spotty, which is how you get Andrade somehow doing a fucking 360 sideways out of the ring and landed on Pac in a way where he can still stand up, like he basically landed on his feet damn near afterward. Like that, if you go back and watch that move, I watched that move maybe 4 or 5 times, and I was like, I still don't understand how this nigga did it. It was like such a moment or whatever. But like that was the shit that I wanted to see him do in WWE, and why I got it, and why he and Pac/Neville were WWE talents in the first place, and why some of these guys who were never WWE talents, there's a fucking reason, bro. Like it's certain shit that comes and then that's the other thing too. Certain shit becoming natural, and like Armand, you made a great point. Like and Shannon too. Stop forcing shit. Like there's a. I mean, all right. Listen, I'm just gonna call it right now. Anybody who's an AEW fan, you're going to have to let go of one of your favorite wrestlers in at least 3 years, if not right now, if you haven't already. because there's going to be something about somebody forcing something,
bro.
and
It's
you
coming,
can see
bro.
the forcing culture in how they force a lot of the shit about, you know what I mean? Like when you get shit forced, it's not gonna come out right. So I say all that to say whatever. The niggas force shit too much. They don't be consistent enough in their storytelling overall with their matches and how they all flow together or whatever. And they don't learn enough from one another, even within their own company. And as long as things stay siloed off and kind of inconsistent like that, these little problems that are only small right now, these motherfuckers gonna grow, and it's gonna be a problem. Now wait until the end of next year when they sign 20 more people, and then you finally get people start complaining about, okay, it's a lot of people on the roster. I don't get
it's bloated already. It's bloated already. That's why they have all these factions. They want to feature so many people on TV who don't actually serve a purpose. Like it's too much.
And then
too much.
Where
especially for someone who's still learning the roster, like
facts.
It's way too much. No one's getting individual features. Like
there are no single stars. There are none. Like there are none.
So now that's a great point. Now let's talk about money and being, because this is the side that niggas don't be. This is like, no offense or whatever, but if you've been unsuccessful, start listening to this shit, because I'm about to explain to you why you've been unsuccessful or whatever. Like whenever you're delivering value, you have to get something in return for that. Period. If I'm serving you food, you giving me money. You know what I mean? When y'all niggas go to buy weed, you give the nigga money. Like like everything that happens, if you want, you gotta get or whatever, right? So if AEW is giving you wrestling, they're giving these wrestlers all these spots on the roster, and they're giving certain wrestlers a lot of fucking money. What the fuck? Where's the coming in return or whatever gonna happen or whatever? Like think about it. Right now, all their money is coming from the TNT network, what they got in the bank, and what TNT allows them to make from the advertising on the show. How the fuck are they going to make money off of merch when I'm seeing 30 niggas? I don't even know who I like the most to buy a shirt. Exactly. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, y'all not paying attention. Like the whole Jungle Boy shit and Luchasaurus or whatever and shit like that. When I saw that, I was like, that's kind of campy. But when I thought about it, I was like, nigga, that is a merch motherfucking machine. If y'all play that right, you can sell the right merch. And then I think about it, and I went to like look for like half a second. I wanted to do like a quick little Google search, because this is how it should come up. I should Google the shit, and it should come up in one of the first 5 to 6. I Googled the shit.
SEO awful, bro.
Do you know how hard it is to find these niggas? Like, and that's the other thing. Like, you niggas are not paying attention to the shit that's going to make you last over a period of time. You just hear like, oh, we finally got some blah, 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 we can wrestle. That's not y'all money. Start business, off one. Bro. That is TNT's money. That is not y'all motherfucking money. Understand that. Until you niggas start making your own, and even like when you selling out your venues or whatever, I looked at y'all venue numbers or whatever, and how many people y'all bring. Bro, come on, my nigga. Like, bro.
Think about this. Every time you see Roman Reigns, you know what the fuck Roman Reigns got on? A Roman Reigns fucking t-shirt.
Yeah.
Every single time you see him.
And the crowd got him on too.
The details.
And like, SmackDown just had the biggest gate that it's ever had at that last. Like, there's a reason why certain shit goes the way it goes. And then here's the other part about it
Shop
too.
WWE.com commercial. Every single show. Bro, it's the details, like you said. It's the little
I don't be mad that Titus is not on TV. I know how Titus get his money by being Titus with WWE. Like, it's like Titus is just like there being
ambassador.
himself.
Like, he's just like
my nigga.
It works.
Like it's a fucking government. This nigga is an ambassador.
He be on Fox cheering with
and the ironic thing is the nigga is doing what he wanted to do, being a nigga who came up or whatever and putting other niggas on, which is what he wanted to do or whatever. And at the same time, maybe does he get less TV time? Yeah. But the good thing is that I see that nigga, he be staying in fucking shape. So if he ever need to get called up for some XYZ, boom, you can come again. And honestly, like, I could see him like later down the road getting that kind of thing where it's just like, yo, I've been here for hella long, my nigga. Like, when am I gonna get my shot, kind of thing? And that's the other thing about it too, is like when you work shit a certain way, that can go into your story. And when y'all was talking about shit not being able to breathe and shit like that, you're ruining people's stories. And I'm gonna get into this with the rewrite or whatever, which is how, like, when you guys are not giving time to things, when you're not letting things play out, when you're not going where things naturally flow, when you're not paying attention in little details, you're robbing yourselves of things in the future. So you niggas can celebrate right now, but unless you start getting your shit together, your future gonna look motherfucking bleak. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say too, and it's just kind of encapsulates kind of the whole conversation, in my opinion. Vince sees, I'm sure Vince watches Rampage and he hears people talking, him, all the people at WWE. Oh my God, y'all lost Neville, y'all lost Pac. If that's what he has to worry about, he's fine.
He's good.
He's not like if that's really what it is that like, oh, there's gonna have a fire match randomly one week. I'm happy for you. He's probably like, I'm happy you are getting shot because we weren't using you. But like this whole thing of him being like, there is yet to be any reasonable, like tangible evidence of these stars being created outside of WWE. Yes, there are very popular wrestlers, but as we talked about, that's not really Vince's only concern. Yeah. And so I think that's kind of the miss. Kind of we're talking about the details that people are missing is that like, yes, even as WWE fans fully understand, most, you know, rational people will be like, oh, that's dope that, you know, like I said, Adam Cole's with his friends, you know, Britt Baker's working with her people. She's a champion now. She's like Tanya Courtney's getting on TV. That's good for them. Like we're happy for them. But for you to insinuate that like, oh, just because, you know, Rusev is TNT champion, that somehow that is on Vince's radar. I mean, I don't know Vince McMahon, but that doesn't seem like something he's concerned about.
Bro, who from AEW has been on Good Morning America? Like, you guys are not paying attention to the like. What the fuck did Loaded Luck say? You're not seeing the large picture.
Yeah, bro.
You niggas are not running the greatest wrestling league in the world. You just another lost nigga.
I had people telling me that Vince was sick on Suicide Watch, and I don't want to use that word loosely, so trigger warning. I'm sorry. I had people telling me Vince is on blank watch because CM Punk debuted on Rampage. Bryan is on AEW. Cole is there. I'm like, bro, they were talking to Cole. They
tried to sign CM. He talked about it,
bro. Like, come on. Like, you act like the WWE has stopped or the quality has dropped because they lost these people. Roman Reigns is still there. Drew McIntyre is still there. Brock is back. Demon Finn just re-debuted. Bianca Belair, Street Profits,
Keith Lee
McIntyre.
coming.
Keith Lee is on the up. Bobby Lashley is doing his thing, even if I don't like it. Like, come on, bro.
Bro, they got Humberto Carrillo chasing the 24/7 championship. These niggas are not short on talent. They are fine.
They're okay. They're letting people go, and they're still okay. Like we really got to be honest. And again, it's these conversations with people who don't really understand the business. They just see Sports Center post, oh, CM Punk just debuted. Bryan just debuted, and it's like, oh, it's a big moment, and it's like, oh, WWE is over. I'm like, oh, you clearly don't watch. Raw has been good the last month. Like I don't know if y'all been watching Raw, but like,
no, I watched the last episode. That shit was hard.
Raw has been good for the last.
Randy
month.
And Bobby, my nigga.
We haven't been able to say Raw has been good since pandemic. Like early pandemic when Raw was the show and SmackDown was trash. Like Raw has not been good for a long time. Raw's been good and they've been letting people like, come on, we really got to be honest here. Like we got to be honest here. But let's get into some positivity, man. I went to my first live wrestling show this past weekend, SmackDown at MSG. It was a moment I've been waiting for since I was 8 years old. And it was especially dope for me because some of my favorite wrestlers when I was young were present, and then some of my favorite wrestlers now were present. I got to see Roman Reigns. I got to see Brock Lesnar. I got to see Edge. I got to see Seth Rollins. I got to see a Drew McIntyre versus Baron Corbin dark match. I got to see a John Cena Mysterios versus the Bloodline dark match. I got to see Becky Lynch. I got to see Big E with the briefcase. I got to see Ziggler and Rude, Shinsuke, Apollo Crews, like, and you know, one thing I didn't anticipate because I've been watching on TV my whole life is like I forgot that I wouldn't be able to hear the commentary because I would be in the crowd. Yeah. But when you're in the crowd and you feel that crowd energy, like it's one thing to hear it on TV and hear a pop, but to be in the midst of a pop when Edge came out, bro.
You think you know me?
When motherfucking Edge came out. When Demon Finn, and like when Demon Finn came out, like this Roman was in the ring, the smoke started to like populate around the stage. I was like, there was rumors of Undertaker coming. Why is Undertaker gonna come out now? I was like, oh, Demon Finn is coming. And then he pops, and bro, the crowd went berserk, my nigga. Oh my God. It was amazing. And they really pulled out all the stops knowing that they would be in MSG. Like that Edge Seth Rollins match, it was better than the first one to me. Like,
yes.
Seth had that nigga on his deathbed.
Even
like,
it was the botched glam, it was great.
It was okay
because he ran it back.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's like botches are okay, but like we know Seth could have done that move. It just shit fucked up. So he's like, this glam slam would have been major. I fucked it up. Let me just run it back and actually hit it. And he actually hit it. I also didn't anticipate not being able to hear like when moves happen in the ring and like you hear the impact. So like certain shit I wouldn't hear. So it was literally just watching like a wrestling match without, it was almost like watching it without the sound on, but then in the big moments, the crowd erupts. And it's like that. Oh my God. It was absolutely amazing, man. Like shout out to the WWE for putting that on. I don't want to bury Chance P. Right, because he's going to talk about something that I also really enjoyed. But Sami Zayn was wearing his Knicks jersey, and he brought out someone who, and it was funny too, when he said someone who could win in MSG, I was like, well, he's not going to bring out a fucking Knicks player.
Yeah, I was like, who is he going?
They can't win there. And I was like, oh, it's going to be redacted. And then it was redacted. So please, Chan, talk about it. Come on.
I just kind of want to talk about just like you talked about before. You know, it's just different. You know, the bag is just different. And I think one thing we said too is like the difference. One of the other differences between WWE and AEW is AEW very much so caters towards their base. They're in Milwaukee. We're going to have Giannis come out, take some pictures. Again, smart, very good. People love Giannis. But Vince says, I'm going to give you what you need. Mm-hmm. He said, I see you're a fan favorite, and I will raise you a villain. Mm. And when I saw Trae Young on the Titantron, when I said my man had intro packages, I said, oh, this nigga is a villain, dog. Comes down and Trey's playing into it, you know, making like whooping up the crowd, like making noise, smiling. And obviously Sami Zayn, one of the greatest, you know, wrestlers of our generation's greatest character work. He's feeding into it too. Like he had the Knicks jersey on and like red and like with white pants with like hearts on it. He looked crazy, but it was just like so
heel.
Yeah,
peak heel word.
Heel, bro, healing off, and then to have Trae Young get involved in the match, and it's so the details again to do it against Rey Mysterio, who he actually is like of comparable size to. Where he like, oh yeah, he could probably hurt Rey Mysterio. Like Rey Mysterio was shorter than him. To have him get involved in the match, get ejected. It's just like. It's different, like when you pay attention to the little things and you put money into the little things. And again, we're talking about money. AEW is announcing Adam Cole. WWE is announcing a movie on Netflix with The New Day, again, 3 Black people, and The Undertaker on Netflix. We're doing 2 different things. We're on 2 different levels. Like we're not playing the same game. Do you understand? To get on Netflix, to have a movie on Netflix this is a wrestling company, and they have a movie on Netflix headlined by 3 Black people who they'll tell you many times essentially are self-made. Like Vince was like, you can have this gimmick and see if it works out, and they've taken it from some shit the 3 of them came up with to tossing pancakes to WWE championships in a Netflix movie. Just like, don't ever give up on yourself. Like, don't ever let someone tell you can't do some shit. But again, I've said this before too. I'm sure me and Vince don't agree on a lot politically and socially, but one thing he sees is where the money's at, where the money resides. I know where the money resides. And these kids go eat the fuck up out this little movie I'm gonna give y'all. And that's what I'm talking about. You are here to entertain the people, not entertain wrestling fans. And so you give people different stuff. You know, it's like how many kids gonna burn through that movie? Like, do you understand that? And that's kind of one of the things I just want to talk about, just like the impact. Again, we talked about Bianca, seeing her come out, just feeling it. Like I remember I was talking to my roommate about this. I was like, you really don't realize about like how much of my like confidence and bravado is based off of The Rock and Booker T. Like growing up and seeing people who just looked like me talk shit to white authority figures, be like, no, I'm not going for that. I am the most electrifying man. I am the number one, the people's champ. Like being able to see that as a kid has meant so much to me. Like to the point where I didn't even realize that I was really talking about it. I got emotional about it. Yeah, and then you see someone like Bianca and imagine all of the little people, the kids that's going to impact. Like, oh no, when I grew up, there was this woman, Bianca Belair, she was this shit. And that like will fundamentally change someone's life. Yeah, being able to see that, being able to go on Netflix, see Kofi Kingston, see people with Black people, dark skin, different body types with their natural hair. Like it's just a deeper level of impact I'm just very happy about. You know, we can compare it, but like just stuff like that just really, this means a lot to me because it's just the impact it will have on future generations. I think can be safe.
Bro, this is how deep this shit is. When Xavier Woods be like wrestling with his like hair all the way out, I still get that. Like, and anybody who's like a little bit older and worked corporate or any job where it's predominantly white people had that thing where it's just like, you cool to do that? Like you could, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I'm still having that happen to me or whatever. Like this shit is deep or whatever. And like to the point where it's just like, and I think we all said this at one point or whatever. and we know people like this or whatever, like, and I done seen it on the internet or whatever. I would say two things. Like, one, like, little black girls have something to watch now, and black women. I was watching a black woman. I saw two different black women like have a good ass time when certain people came out. One was Bianca, and another one was when Finn Balor came out. They put the camera on this black woman in the crowd. She was wearing a John Cena shirt, and she was having the time of her life. And that shit made my heart feel so good, because I was just like, who knows what other bullshit she got to deal with.
Exactly.
And she get to have a good ass time coming up here. And then on top of that, it's just like people who never watch wrestling, like my girl and shit or whatever. Like when I'll mention something about Bianca, and she'll be on, like, I'll be watching it on my laptop, and I'll look over and I'll see that she's watching it because she wants to know what's happening with Bianca and shit like that. And I'm like, fam, this is it's just different or whatever. And then the last thing is, like, I went to the NBA subreddit or whatever, and my nigga, they were talking about that.
Oh yeah, Trey, yes.
Like, it didn't just get mentioned, nigga. They were talking about this, and
the Sports Center posted his
appearance. So say, yeah, it was trending.
And here's the thing: I was watching, and this is the key right here. I was watching a bunch of niggas. I saw this comment like 100 times in a bunch of different ways. It was like, I was addicted to WWE when I was a kid. That's so crazy. And then you know what that is? That's that little seed. That's that. Come back. Come back. That's what got me back. It's just like, come on, man.
And it was genius because we know that their New Year's pay-per-view is going to be in Atlanta, like New Year's Day. So you know Trey is going to be probably going to be involved in some way. I think they play in like the day before and somewhere else after, but they're going to find a way to incorporate Trey or some Hawks player or someone from Atlanta. Nigga, Migos might come out, bro. Like
fucking Quavo drop kick.
Like, well, we don't know, but it's just like planting that seed, that curiosity. It's like, how far can these niggas go? They got Bad Bunny. So at this point, they could bring like very few non-WWE people are going to turn down that bag. And that's the difference, is like they have that cultural imprint where people want to get involved because they know what it's going to do for them, and it's going to do for the people who are watching, their fans, and the people who are eventually going to become their fans. It's just it was amazing, bro. It's amazing. CC, what's your pre-write, bro?
Look, listen, it's coming. I know a lot of y'all see it, and it's one of those things where it's like it's kind of a rewrite or whatever, and it's just like there's a bunch of reasons why it might not happen or whatever. Mainly because of the two people involved included wanted to make sure that, you know, they're not stepping on each toes, and then, like, you know, women are not getting overshadowed and whatnot like that. But fam, after I saw this past episode, it's coming. Power couple is coming. Y'all niggas thought Triple H and Stephanie was some shit. Seth and Becky are about to be like the best like power couple you have ever seen in wrestling ever. Nigga, when Becky came out with that motherfucking fur coat, nigga, I was like, gang.
Drip or drown, bro.
She literally was dropping the hint to you niggas. I'm like, you've been seeing what Seth has been doing. If she's coming out like that, what the fuck do you think is about to happen? Like, and then I think about how they got Johnny, and I always forget her. I always fuck this up. I always forget her name, but Johnny and his wife in NXT. Candice LeRae, yeah. I fuck with her too. But
John Morrison and Frankie Monet.
I know talking about John Morrison and Frankie Monet.
That shit needs to happen too.
When I saw how successful Johnny Gargano and Candice is, like, they're like how they like run it or whatever, like I was like, oh, y'all can make the couple play work. And it's just like, and this is paying attention within your own company. You don't think anybody else in WWE is watching like, oh, okay, so a couple can work? Like, are you kidding me? So when I saw that shit with Becky or whatever, like, this might just be my rewriting brain that wanted to make it happen. But I'm like, yo, no, I'm gonna call this shit right now. Seth and Becky are gonna do power couple shit. Seth's the next Triple H. Becky's not gonna be like Stephanie or whatever. She's gonna be like kind of like, I don't even know how she's just gonna be. I mean, she already a whole different beast. It's just gonna be like that. And then the best thing about it is like, because they have such big personalities, you can like work this story over time a lot the same way the McMahons were, where like you'll see the McMahons together, and then some of them will be beefing with each other, and then they'll be together, and then they'll be beefing with each other. Do you know how long this couple play is gonna be able to work, my nigga? Like, with them working like that, this is gonna be fucking amazing. We about to get some great fucking storylines. I'm telling you, I'm calling it now. It's coming. Power couple's coming. Seth and Becky. I'm telling you, it's coming.
We ready. Oh, well, I'm ready for it. I need it. For our free write, I want to keep it short, so I'm just gonna fire off some questions to y'all. One person, y'all go handle it, then we're gonna move on. So, Channing, Street Profits versus Usos feud. One, how'd you feel about the match? Two, do you see it going long, and do you see Street Profits getting the title off?
One, rooting for everybody black. You know, I love my black and brown people. Two, definitely think that I think this is who the Usos are going to drop the belts to. There's really no other, like, it seems like the Mysterios kind of thing is moving into a different direction. Like, they're baby faces, obviously, but it seems like that's kind of moving off. I do think the Street Profits going to get it back. I was honestly surprised. Obviously, seeing the Finn thing, it makes sense, but I was surprised that they didn't win. I thought that was going to be their moment because they do like to do that with the Street Profits. I believe it was NXT TakeOver in Brooklyn when they won the NXT in that ladder match. So like they do like to have moments with the Street Profits. You see Montez, you see it. Look at the material, honestly. So I think yes, it will go on. I think they will definitely drop. Probably in some type of ladder match, maybe at a TLC. But I definitely think there will be. That this is who they will drop it to. Whether it's this pay-per-view or the next one, I'm not sure, but definitely will drop it to the Street Profits.
CC, who do you think CM Punk's next feud is going to be if this Darby Allin thing doesn't continue?
Bro, this shit is hard. I was looking at AEW's roster and everything that's going on, and like it's really difficult because here's the thing. CM Punk is on like a certain level, like, and this kind of goes back to the beginning of our conversation. It's like with consistency, CM Punk is on a certain level. The reason why he was able to face Darby Allin because Darby Allin's name is so motherfucking hot right now that it's just like you got to have the hot name against the other hot name. What are the other hot names that he like really has like a chance to like really go after and like really have a good feud with that aren't already involved in something? And that's like my answer right there. I can't, for me, and this is just for me, like this is how I would call it. I wouldn't put him with anyone outside of the Elite and Bryan Danielson. Like I can't, because when I think about,
you don't like Team Taz, that's not doing anything for you.
Yo, oh my god, when Taz got up, I was like, oh, I know Taz like manages people, and I don't know like a ton about all that stuff. So I'm like, okay, who does he manage and who is he gonna put out there? And then I saw I forget his name, but that big black dude or whatever,
Powerhouse Hobbs.
Yo, that nigga Hobbs, that nigga. If he go to WWE, they just gonna change it just to Hobbs. Yeah,
him and Cage are both. Vince loves that type of guy.
I watched him. I was like, yo, this shit is crazy. But when I thought about it or whatever, I was just like, where is Hobbs in his career? He's young. CM Punk,
he's really raw.
Yeah, he shouldn't be going up against him or whatever. And then I'm thinking about other people or whatever. I'm like, they either really old and never was that nigga or really young and haven't been that nigga yet. You can't have CM Punk go up against somebody who isn't currently that nigga right now. And that's where all the top stuff, like the people who run the company are the people in that spot. So honestly, I think his next feud, and I don't know how this is gonna. I don't know what his next feud is gonna be. But I know one of the feuds that's gonna happen in the future, in the very near future, before we get to the middle of next year, is gonna be with Cody.
Of course,
he's gonna have something with Cody. But I think the way that it's gonna play out is that they're gonna have really, really, really good promos. And I think they're going to have a pretty good match, but the only way that match can end is like it has to start another feud or like get somebody else involved. Because after he goes to that, really all you can do is circle him around the Elite and Bryan Danielson is really not much to do. So I don't know. I think it's going to be Cody next, but AEW, y'all got to get y'all shit together because y'all bringing in big stars, but y'all don't got niggas for them to go up against like name-wise. It's like you need somebody to have them go up against name-wise.
Yeah.
I think what we're about to see, and this is partially, I hope this happens just so he can get his comeuppance. I would really love to see Christian versus CM Punk for the Impact World Championship. Just like, look at what you've been reduced to. You're wrestling for the Impact Championship, and that's the only person on his level. Because that would be a good match, but it would just be funny being like, oh, he made all this shit about never main eventing WrestleMania, and now he's main eventing Emergence. Like, good for you. Like, you finally got it, CM. Big main event. Like, and that would just be funny. But I can see that because they're similar levels. They clearly have like a past relationship, respect each other. Jericho, I feel like
it's probably gonna happen for Punk and Jericho.
I feel like that's probably what realistically will happen because it seems like the MJF thing is being finally wrapped up, and they obviously know each other, can wrestle. Because another thing too is that like CM Punk is at a stage in his career where like he can't pick up powerhouse Hobbs. Like, he's just not physically strong enough to do that anymore.
There was ring rust, a lot of ring rust in that Darby match.
So he needs smaller guys who can work a certain style. So I think guys like Jericho, Cage, you'll probably get like one of these factions, like the Hardy family office, will send someone to fuck with something like that. But I think it'll be Jericho and is that Inner Circle, Pinnacle? Don't know. No, it's Inner Circle because there's like 7 of them different fucking same faction over and over again.
I'm saying you naming all these factions, and I'm like, nigga, what's the difference? I remember they
It's old white guy, older established wrestler, tag team of the wrestler. That's the formula for all of them.
Yep, that's
like,
it.
Literally
You're right.
all of them.
That is the formula.
And that's why I like Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy so much, is because like they really just there themselves. Luchasaurus is dope. I'm not gonna lie. I like Luchasaurus. I like him.
Cool.
Like his mask is a little
cool
weird,
wrestlers.
but like
he's just weird. He just leans into being weird. It's like, fuck, I respect you. You're a weird guy.
Yeah. For me, for my free ride, real quick, looks like this Alexa Bliss Charlotte match is gonna happen. This is exactly what Charlotte needed. Like Stephen A. said, this is exactly what I've been waiting. This is exactly, not to quote Catwin, but this is exactly what I've been waiting for. Charlotte has done everything. You know, the Nia Jax shoot fights, those shoot fights were great. I love that shit. I love that
shit. You call it shoot fights and not matches, because that's exactly what it was.
Shoot fights, like they were fighting. But I think this Alexa Bliss thing is really going to show us what Charlotte's character can do being put into a weird situation like this. We saw Seth and Fiend. Seth was made to look like a loser against Fiend. Daniel Bryan shined with Fiend. Like these weird storylines like this, like it don't work for everyone. But I feel like this is going to be the true test for Charlotte. Can she morph her character into someone who can bounce back and forth with Alexa Bliss, whether it's promos, whether she goes to the fun house, whatever Alexa Bliss does, or her little playground. Like, can she do this? Can she make it interesting? We're always going to watch what Charlotte does. We know she can perform in the ring, but it's the shit leading up to the match that's important for us. And, you know, like Charlotte's great, but I haven't really been too interested in what she's been doing, the Nikki Cross, Rhea shit, all that. So this is really going to be a test for her. I don't think her legacy gets fucked up if the story doesn't go well, but I think it will be important for her to get into this with Alexa, for Alexa to really shine with the character. And like, I do hope Alexa gets the title off her, because Alexa hasn't held a singles title in mad long. So it's especially this character's over. People love this Alexa Bliss character. So I really think that is time. I would like to see it. Let's get into Go ahead.
Sorry, one thing. Word of advice. If you are looking to getting to what Charlotte Flair is currently doing, you need to turn your TV off, go on Instagram, and look at her profile. Then you'll get what she's doing.
Yeah, she's been dropping some shit.
She's been dropping some meat, right?
I'm not gonna lie.
Respect to that. Respect to Andrade. Respect to Charlotte. Respect to everybody. Respectfully speaking, she would drop some heat on the ground.
That
Mark Jackson voice.
With all due respect. Let's get into our rewrite. So probably the biggest moment of All Out. This is our first AEW rewrite, by the way. Ding, ding, ding. Bells and whistles. Woo! Yeah. We stepping out. I can't believe we did an AEW rewrite before an NXT rewrite. But anyways, we'll get into that. The moment at All Out, Kenny Omega and Christian had a solid match. I ended up skipping through a little bit of it just because it was long. It was a long match. But at the end, we see Adam Cole come out. I forget who he super kicked, but it looked like he was about to start some shit with Kenny Omega. And then he super kicks someone, and then he starts hugging the Elite. He gets kisses on the cheeks from the Young Bucks, whatever. And they're all talking that shit. And then Bryan Danielson comes out, all within the span of like 10 minutes. And it goes back to what Quan said. They don't let shit breathe. I'm like, that could have and should have been done much better. Like we said, Britt Baker planted the seeds with the big signing and then doing the Panama Sunrise, and CM Punk leaked Bryan was going to be coming soon, and we knew from all the reports Bryan was coming soon. But with people knowing that, you want to give them a moment where it's like, oh, we know this thing is going to happen, but then when you do it, it's impactful. I don't really feel like that it was that impactful. Like when we knew CM Punk was coming, his debut on Rampage, he opened Rampage. They're like, it was ballistic in that arena.
Dummy.
It was ballistic. They opened the show with that. I don't think they necessarily should have opened the show with Cole or Danielson, but like do more with that. If you're gonna end the show with it, do more with that shit. So I want to ask y'all how y'all would have rewritten the Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole debuts on AEW with the whole Kenny and Christian match in mind, because In my mind, I would have had it gone a different way. I personally would have had Christian win. I know they don't want Kenny Omega to come up off that title, but given he's beaten Kenny Omega before, it's like, let him beat him again. And then have Adam Cole, then let Adam Cole come out and help the Elite jump Christian. And then you have Bryan Danielson come save Christian from the Elite. Have him, kick everyone, make it more impactful. But how would y'all have done it?
I think kind of to your point, AEW's issue was you should have never had both of them debut at the same time. Like that in itself is a ridiculous idea. Like you would just never, if these are supposed to be two pillars of your company, you like there would never be like a John Cena return and an Edge return within the span of 5 minutes. Like that doesn't, you said, doesn't let it breathe. Also, you like, it's almost like whiplash. Like I remember watching and being like, wait, didn't Adam Cole just debut? Like what? Oh, I guess that doesn't matter anymore. 1, 2, which again, this is maybe a personal thing. Maybe people like the factions. I don't know. I don't understand why you would debut Adam Cole into a faction that already has 7 people in it. Like he immediately becomes so not important because it's like, oh, well, now he's just a flunky. Like he was the leader of the Undisputed Era, and now he is somewhere beneath, the
he's
young.
He's a fucking
guns.
6-man. He's a 6-man.
Yeah, it's just like
Manu Ginobili.
Yeah. So I think what I would do, and I'm looking up the pay-per-view schedule now, and I'll see, so don't, sue me if this is wrong, but it looks like their next pay-per-view is Full Gear. I would have personally had, kind of like you're saying, Christian's about to win the match, Adam Cole, shocking debut. Again, another thing they always do with their debuts, they have them like very stilted. It's very like, this person is about to debut now, and then they point, and then the person comes out. I would have had him just surprise, kind of like he did NXT, surprise, run out, saves Kenny from losing the match. Kenny wins the match. You have the hug fest, whatever. Then what you do in the next one is you set up a match between Adam and Kenny. Like, hey, I came here to help you. It's no beef, but like I'm the man. Like I'm Adam Cole. I deserve this title. Like let me get a shot. Full Gear is in November. That's their next pay-per-view. Gives you enough time to kind of have your little prerequisite matches against, the Young Bucks, Luke Gallows and Anderson, whoever you want to have. You can kind of do that stuff. We get to Full Gear, setting up for this fire match, which should be fire match. Omega versus Cole, like whatever. You're in the match, Adam Cole's got him lined up for the last shot. He's about to hit it. The Elite turns on Adam. Adam's getting jumped. Then you have Daniel Bryan debut. So now you've established 2 single babyface superstars who don't have to be together because, again, that's their issue. Even CM Punk, as soon as he debuts, they align him quasi with Darby Allin and Sting. And so it's like he's not in a faction, but he's with people. Like you just leave them by themselves. Like you have them established that way. And also you get the 2 separate bumps of Adam Cole debuted, and now Adam Cole has a match. So that way you can work out the entrance, work out all whatever you want to do. So that way that Adam Cole match is a big feel. And then you can bring in Daniel Bryan as your like kind of hero saying babyface. You also kind of prevent the thing that AEW does a lot too with people where it's like they have to face Cody in their first match, or their first feud is never like that interesting. It's always like some kind of like starter feud. So I think you give them someone feuding right into the title picture immediately makes them important. Because you look at other guys like Hangman Page, Darby Allin, they just don't keep them around the title picture enough. And I think they really needed to do that with these 2 guys. And so that's how I personally would have done it. Not to like anything super crazy, because again, I think like with guys like Daniel Bryan, you don't have to do a lot. But I just think you separate it, let them breathe, but you also establish them immediately in the world title picture. Because even right now, it kind of looks like are Adam Cole and Daniel Bryan going to feud, or is he going to feud with Frankie Kazarian? Like, he's not really sure what's about to happen. And that's what another thing AEW, they bring these people up and they debut and then they do nothing for 3 months. Like, what is Andrade been doing? What is Rusev doing? Like, these big Mark Henry debuted at some point and he's still there. Big Show had a match, I guess, but it's just like you have these debuts and you do nothing with them. And so I think you immediately doing something with them makes them important, lets you kind of move away from the Elite. They can do something else, but I think you move that way for sure.
I like that. So the way I had it is like, I share your sentiment where it's just like, you don't need to do much. And I don't think you need to do much for either of them, to be honest. So how I would have had it is CM Punk hits the GTS on Darby Allin, pins him, gets the win or whatever. Asks for the mic or whatever. And then you know, he addresses the crowd, says the city name, and he says like the greatest wrestler in the world is officially in AEW or whatever. And as soon as he finished saying that, yo, first of all, his new music is hard. That shit is tough.
Not
But
gonna lie, I like
with the 808 behind it now.
Oh hell yeah, that 808 behind it make it bounce.
Flavor to you now.
But
they had Metro Boomin do that shit. They call it Metro.
But yeah, you have CM Punk do that, and then Brian comes out, or Daniel Bryanson comes out, and then what did I say? Daniel Bryanson.
You did.
Brian Danielson.
It's all right. I'm
sorry. It flipped. So I'm trying to I'm trying to remember the actual name now instead of like what it actually was before. Yeah. But you have Brian Danielson come out or whatever. And then he basically just like says these things. He comes up with his thing. He has the mic or whatever. And he just goes like greatest wrestler in the world or whatever. And, he kind of says like, there's only one way to find out. Meanwhile, you still have like Sting and Darby Allin in the background. And instead of Sting being like respect, he like grabs Darby Allin and he feels like offended that like, CM Punk like kind of beat him. And CM Punk's kind of just like, what the fuck you want me to do? I'm the greatest wrestler or whatever. And Brian Danielson's like, I don't know about that. And now we're setting up Brian Danielson, CM Punk tagging against Sting and Darby Allin.
Sting! Sting!
And then what we're gonna get from that is like, they have their little match here and there, but then we kind of get Brian and Punk kind of in like a tag team for a little bit, but that eventually implodes because they're always trying to one up each other. Yep. And then they just have like a greatest wrestler ever match at one of the pay-per-views.
That'd be fire.
And then that's how you do that. And then for Adam Cole or whatever, you have it so that like Christian looks like he's about to win, and then all of a sudden you just get Adam Cole's music or whatever, and then like he just like running out to the ring, and the whole place is popping or whatever. And then he comes out and like he does like this distraction to like help Kenny end up winning or whatever, and then the whole faction comes out, and then he gets on the mic and says, "That's right, Adam Cole is AEW, Adam Cole is All Elite, blah 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 blah." And then you have Adam Cole be the one who like gets the belt from the guy on the side or whatever to hand it to Kenny after he wins, and he hands it to him. But you look at like Adam Cole looking at he's like holding the belt and like looking at him, giving it to him.
He's kind of like Triple H and Batista, where he looks up at it like
exactly. That's it, and that's exactly how you do it. And how you play that out is like you start sowing the seed, is because this is how here's how I felt when I saw Adam Cole debut. He is cooler than every single one in AEW in All Elite all combined. Like
he's their player 6. Like
so much cooler than these niggas. He's so much cooler than these niggas that it don't make sense for him to fit. And then I thought about it and I was just like, well, he's really, really cool. And the way he talked to Tony Schiavone or whatever, I'm just like, he's like the cool bully guy. Won't you like the cool bully guy never plays number 2 in a group? Like if we're like just talking like your classic teen movie, like just copy pasta teen movie or whatever, he's gonna be the leader. Like he's either like the number 2 or he's the leader or whatever. So you can't have Adam Cole come in and just be with these niggas or whatever. He gotta be like the leader or something like that. He was just a leader Undisputed Era. So like he's basically like gonna like have like a feud with like Kenny where he's like basically trying to take over the All Elite. And then like you see All Elite, like it's like some of them kind of lean more one way or the other way, but they can all be swayed, and it's just kind of like a battle for who's going to be the leader of All Elite and whatever, and whoever loses gets kicked out or whatever. And have that hard. So CM Punk and what is it, Full Gear was their next one. CM Punk and Daniel Bryan have their match at Full Gear, and then you have Adam Cole and Kenny have their All Elite match. And like you either do it for the championship or for who can be in All Elite or in the Elite, or both. And that's how I would do it.
What I was thinking too is like interesting, like they debuted both of them back to back on a pay-per-view that everyone couldn't watch. It's like you should have saved one of them for Rampage. If you're gonna do them both, like just save one. Like it's like you should have put it on, because one thing I do hate that WWE does is that all their returns, they're like, oh, this person's returning on Friday. They tell you like a week out. And so that's kind of sucks. I wish you would have surprised me. But like also it's nice that like you can then at least sometimes watch it on television. It's on like just regular TV. And that is something I would have, looking back on it, they should have probably done that too. Like you said, like, have them have debut during television, like on Dynamite, when everyone's watching. Like CM Punk was leading off Dynamite. Like, do it like that.
That's how you pop a rating. Like, you surprise motherfuckers. Like, people see it on Twitter, like, oh, I gotta tune in. Like, so your second hour gets boosted because everyone's watching. They want to see, like, is this person gonna pop up again? They're gonna have a match, like whatever. Yeah, I agree. And I like both of the ideas. I'm just like, yo, bro, you really fumbled an amazing opportunity to do some incredible shit. Like Cole coming in with the super kick, that was cool. Brian coming in with the yes kicks, that was cool. But you don't want to do cool shit. You want to do moments, and the AEW fans, they're moments for them because they've been craving stars like this. But like for the people watching outside who are just genuine wrestling fans who knew the shit could have been better, it was like, really? Like, you really like, and on the one hand, like, I kind of get why AEW kind of struck while the iron was hot and did both of them within 10 minutes of each other. But I don't know how sustainable it is because Brian overshadowed Cole. Brian's a bigger star than Cole. Like, Brian's a like,
way bigger.
Worldwide, way more.
WrestleMania main eventer, like top WrestleMania matches ever type
literally
shit.
was in the WrestleMania main event months ago. Yeah. Right. Cole never left NXT. So it's like, yeah, people fuck with him, they know him, and it's a great get for AEW, but it didn't bury Cole, but it was almost like, oh yeah, you're coming out, but you're second to Brian. And maybe that story, maybe Cole's gonna be like, yo, you stole my moment, and that'll set up a feud with them because their SmackDown match when NXT invaded SmackDown was fire. Like, I would love to see a full feud with them, but it was like, yo, you could have just let it breathe a little bit. Just let Cole come, let his head get big. He's with the Elite, all that, and then let Brian come and work his way through the Elite. Like, it's right there. It's right there.
I have another point too. This is like, I don't mean to like heavily criticize AEW because there's definitely parts of AEW I really like. Like, I really think Ricky Starks is a star. I love Ricky Starks. I've talked about you guys to my Britt Baker. She speaks to me. I don't know how. I don't know why. But she does something to me spiritually. But I was thinking, like, I was like, okay, what does WWE do when they like debut people who are popular in other places? Because I think, and I was like, oh, they really don't do that. Like, AJ Styles is really the last guy who like was popping in another company. And they just brought him over to the main roster. And even with AJ Styles, they talk about his past stuff, but they created essentially their own character of AJ Styles. It's AJ Styles, but like they've done things to him, whether it be like the Undertaker stuff, they've done stuff with him. And even Adam Cole NXT, I had no idea who Adam Cole was really before he debuted in NXT, but they did a good job of building him up, making him be something. One thing AEW kind of did with both of their debuts is that you have to know that Adam Cole is in the Elite for that debut to make any sense. You have to have already have known that. And I know that because I'm a wrestling fan, but if you're not, it's like, well, why the fuck is he with them all of a sudden? Like, or like even Daniel Bryan, it's like, you have to know who Daniel Bryan is and take all that work that WWE's already done to then be impressed by this debut. And that's one thing that AEW has to start doing is building their own characters. Like, yes, obviously people are famous from the indies and stuff, but you have to take them and make them into your own thing because then they will always just be someone who's famous in the indies or somebody who is famous in WWE. There will never be any AEW. Like, you have to put whatever the AEW polish or sheen is. I know maybe they don't want to have one, but if you actually want to be sustainable and have like people look to your company for new stars, you have to be the ones generating them and having your own thing. Because a lot of this like inside jokery and like kind of just dirt sheet stuff, if you don't know it, it doesn't mean anything to you. And I think that's something they really need to start doing better is like, you need to turn Adam Cole into his own thing, not just Adam Cole who was in the Elite or was in the Bullet Club or was in the Undisputed Era. Like, you need to make a totally new character. Same with Daniel Bryan. Like, and until they do that, like they talk a lot about new stars, but it's like you have younger wrestlers, but they're not really new stars. They're just younger. Like the Young Bucks just happen to be younger than, Randy Orton. But it's not as if like the Young Bucks are somehow more famous than Randy Orton, And I just think that's always interesting to me. It's like they talk so much about how they're generating stars, but it's like you're not actually generating anything. You're taking stars and giving them a platform, but you're not actually creating anything of value, really. Like, if I didn't, WWE did all the work. Like, they made Daniel Bryan. You didn't do anything. You just had him show up at your company. You're not making a star. WWE made the star. Yep. And like you have to now build that up, or it's just gonna be like, oh yeah, it's the WWE guys on here. Because that's what it's becoming. You're just going to sign all these ex-WWE guys. You'll just have the old WWE guys, and you'll be the main event mafia from TNA, which is one of my favorite factions of all time.
Mm-hmm. And that's facts. That's facts. Great rewrite. AEW, yeah, you just gotta be patient. Be patient. I know you want to give the fans everything immediately, and the fans want everything immediately, but then they realize they didn't really want it immediately when the shit falls through and like someone moves on to a feud that they don't give a fuck about. Like you gotta let shit breathe. But
people don't really know what the fuck they want.
They don't. And that's facts. That's facts. It's like these music fans that say, oh, this album isn't going to have longevity when they just heard it for a week. Like, you don't know. You don't know till years pass. Niggas ain't like Views immediately. Now Views is arguably Drake's top 3. Come on. You gotta let shit breathe.